Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to ArchiHacks, and today we're going to talk about Nano Banana Pro. Nano Banana model has already been proven to be one of the best image generation model for visualization and design. So it's really no surprise that people are really excited when it comes to the new version of the Nano Banana. And just in the past few weeks, people have discovered so many interesting use cases for this new model. So in this video, I will be walking through some of the most popular and mind-blowing capabilities of Nano Banana. I'll also share all the prompts in the description, so if you want to try anything out on your own, make sure to check that out. So let's go ahead and see if Nano Banana lives up to its hype. So there are two major ways to access Nano Banana. One is through Gemini, and the second is through the Google's AI Studio. So what you're seeing here is Gemini, so you can access this website by going to gemini.google.com, and I'll also put the link in the description so you can access them easily. This user interface is very simple and very user-friendly, but the problem with this is that I find that I quickly run out of free credit and I'll have to upgrade to a pro plan. And if you're like me, you may not want to necessarily upgrade to a pro account. So what you can do instead is go over to the AI Studio, which I'll also link in the description, and access the model directly. Now to do so, you have to link your API key as well as your credit card. Seems a bit complicated, but they'll give you the instructions. You can just follow them step by step. If you need help with this, let me know in the comments and I'll create another video for that. But once you have your API key linked to this user interface, you'll be able to access more detailed options for the model. The benefit of doing this is that you can use unlimited amount of AI generation and you will be charged exactly according to the amount that you use. So for the rest of the video, I'll be using AI Studio, but if you prefer more simple UI, you can go ahead and use the Gemini as well. You should be able to achieve the same effect on either side of the user interface. So the first architectural application I want to show you is simply using the prompts to change your image. So you can do something really simple starting from, let's say you start with this image of a museum in Ottawa and ask AI to change the paving type. And in this example, I asked the AI to change it to wooden planks, and then it just went ahead and did just that. And what's really cool about the Nano Banana Pro is that it thinks a little bit more deeply about the prompt and then tries to figure out what you want to do. So as you can see, they actually followed the little path that's running diagonally with the wooden planks. So that's like a little neat trick that Nano Banana Pro is able to do. Now, if you want to use something more specific, let's say, for example, this permeable paver, you can add the texture as the second image and ask AI to synthesize that into the first one. Now, in my example, the Nano Banana Pro was not able to get exactly what I wanted, so I had to re-prompt it, asking it to only apply the texture to the ground and make sure that the color and texture and lighting all matches with the original image. So with a couple of tries, I was able to achieve the look I was looking for. So as you can see, these models aren't perfect from the first try, but what's nice is that you can always do a Q&A to get the exact look that you're looking for. Now, the second example I'll be showing you here is replacing the fabric in your interior furniture. So I have this beautiful, simple interior scene over here, and I'm just gonna ask AI to use a green velvet texture and see how that goes. Hey, just a quick plug while this is loading. I created this website with all the preset workflows so that you don't have to experiment with different inputs and prompts. If you want to try this out yourself, head over to imaginterior.com and use our referral code to get some free credits. And here we have the result. And look at that, wow. The texture looks super realistic and it even follows the little folds on the sofa. So that turned out really well. Now, what if we want to apply a specific pattern or texture? You can attach that as a second part of the image prompt and then prompt the AI to do this. Now, some of the key components that you have to add to prompting when you're applying texture is to make sure the AI applies the texture along the surface of the furniture that you want to replace, and make sure the texture is only applied to the specific furniture type. So those are some of the caveats you have to keep in mind. Now, the other thing about Gemini Pro is that it goes through like several iterations on its own. So if you expand the thinking process, you can see the types of images that it has gone through and evaluating the success of that image. Now, I find that Nano Banana Pro actually isn't that successful, especially when it comes to fabric replacement. Even though it was really good at applying the velvet texture to the sofa, it's not really that good at figuring out how to use a specific texture that I'm providing. So that was a bit of a bummer. But on the flip side, what's really great is that you can always change the model back to the original Nano Banana, and the original Nano Banana is actually quite good at this. So depending on your use case, you can choose the model to work with, and hopefully in the future updates, they'll be able to handle this better as well. Another huge time-saving trick I found with Nano Banana is that you can use it to populate your scene. So for example, coming back to the first image, I'm going to ask AI to populate the scene with some pedestrians. And just like that, AI was able to incorporate some really seamless looking people into the scene. And you can do that in the interior scene as well. So in this case, I'm going to ask AI to populate the living room with family, and look at that. And of course, the kids using iPad because, that's probably the realistic view of a family in this day and age. And you can do the opposite. Let's say you have a photograph with a lot of people in the scene and you don't really want that people. Then you can ask AI to remove those people. So you can really go either way. And Nana has a really good consistency between the images, so you don't have to worry about your actual geometry getting distorted. Okay, and then last but not least, here is another example. You can take a Google Earth image such as this one, and I'll just screenshot that and then paste it into the UI and ask Nano Banana to extract that image, cut that image out from the background. And within seconds, it's able to do that. So it's going to make your job really easy. If you are just trying to do some site studies and some research, this will be a really useful tool. But on top of that, what you can do is you can actually plant that into another location. So you can take a screenshot from, let's say, this open field over here. And God forbid, no one actually does that on this location, but you can ask AI to place the previous building on top of here, and they'll Photoshop that seamlessly into that location. So that blows my mind. And you know what's crazy is that the AI actually estimates the geometry of the building as well as the context to project the shadows onto the adjacent buildings. And let's move on to a bedroom. Now here's a very generic bedroom scene. And let's say we want to try different options with lighting and furniture, right? And you can ask Nano Banana to basically do anything you want. For example, I'm going to ask Nano Banana to replace the pendant lights that you see in this image with the wall sconces. And you can even provide specific images of wall sconce that you want to see in that picture. And then within seconds, not only remove the pendant lights, but Photoshop the target wall sconces directly into the image in a seamless way. And as you can see, Nano Banana has so many interesting capabilities that it's kind of hard to cover in one single video. So I'm probably going to be making a series of these kind of videos ranging from interior design, architectural design, all the way to urban planning. So if you want to learn all about these tips and tricks, make sure to stick around and subscribe so that you can see more videos like this in your feed. You can also follow us on social media to get all the updates as soon as they're released. If you want to learn more about AI tips and tricks, make sure to check out this playlist. As per the usual, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.